Hey there, history lovers. Welcome to beautiful Beatrice, Nebraska, a place where the tallgrass prairie once stretched to the horizon and where the promise of a better life drew people from all over the world. And right here at Homestead National Historical Park, we're standing on sacred ground, land that helped define the American frontier spirit. This site commemorates the Homestead Act of 1862, one of the most transformative laws in our nation's history. Signed by President Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War, the act offered 160 acres of free land, yes, free, to anyone willing to settle it, farm it, and live on it for 5 years. Over 1.6 million people would eventually file claims under the act, shaping not just Nebraska but the entire American landscape. This very park sits on the land claim of a man named Daniel Freeman, widely recognized as the first person to file under the Homestead Act on January 1st, 1863, the very first day the law went into effect. His story and the stories of countless others who followed are preserved here across nearly 200 acres of reconstructed prairie, homesteader cabins, trails, and a remarkable visitor center that we'll visit in just a little bit. I'm Tom, and today we're going to step back in time, walk the trails, peek inside a frontier cabin, go into the visitor center, and uncover what life was really like for the people who turned raw prairie into homesteads, communities, and eventually the foundation of rural America. Our first stop on our tour is the Palmer-Epard Cabin. Now, this might not look like much at first glance, but believe it or not, this little log cabin tells a big story. Welcome to the Palmer-Epard Cabin, built in 1867 by a man named Joseph Epard and later owned by the Palmer family, two homesteading families who, like so many others, came here in search of opportunity, land, and a new life under the promise of the Homestead Act. Take a look. It's a 14 by 16 foot one-room structure made of hand-hewn logs and native oak held together with wooden pegs and a whole lot of perseverance. There's no plumbing, no insulation, no privacy, just a dirt floor in the original version, a wood-burning stove, a few simple furnishings, and the determined hearts of the people who called it home. Can you imagine living here with your entire family, parents, children, sometimes even grandparents under one roof through Nebraska's scorching summers and bone-chilling winters? Every square inch mattered. The table doubled as a workspace and a school desk. Beds were sometimes shared or even suspended from the ceiling to conserve space, and that little loft, well, that was the little kids' bedroom.
Life on the Prairie homestead. What was it like? Herbert Palmer remembers. In the 1870s, he was born in this cabin, which was originally located on a homestead 14 miles from here. Mr. Palmer was the youngest of 10 children.
There were no roads laid out at that time. Just followed the cow paths to Beatrice. If I remember right, there was only 3 houses in the jail. Well, Father had a team oxen named Old Buck and Bright, and he just had a plow, one plow, and then he'd turn them oxen out of the night, get up and go out maybe for an hour or two before he could find them. There was no fences or nothing, then. And heavy dews nights, come in there and he'd sit down and eat breakfast, and water run out of his trousers on the floor, and we'd have to get up and take our lunch out and stay out on the prairie all day and herd sheep. I always figured on the farm if we could get just caught up once. It used to be, there was nothing to mow weeds or anything, and you could lay down and sleep a little while, but raining hard, and then pick up the scythe and mow the fence rows and all that.
Despite the challenges, this was more than just shelter. It was a symbol of success. For many, owning land and building a home with your own hands meant freedom, stability, and a legacy to pass down to future generations. Now let's head to the Homestead National Historical Park Visitor Center. It's the perfect place to learn about the early American frontier. As we step inside, we'll find a treasure trove of exhibits that bring the homestead story to life. There's interactive displays, a short documentary film, original documents, tools, and household items used by real homesteaders. Every corner of this center gives us a glimpse into the lives of those who left everything behind to stake their claim on the Great Plains. At the heart of it all is the Homestead Act of 1862, a revolutionary law signed by President Abraham Lincoln during the height of the Civil War. Under this act, any U.S. citizen or intended citizen, male or female, black or white, immigrant or native born, could apply for 160 acres of federal land. Was there a catch? Sure. You had to live on the land, farm it, and improve it for 5 continuous years. Do that, and the land was yours, free and clear. Now imagine the magnitude of that promise. For many poor families, immigrants, and freed slaves, this was a chance not just to survive, but to own, to belong, and to build a future. Over the next century, more than 270 million acres, that's about 10% of the entire United States, would be distributed under this act. As we step inside the center, we also see that there was a ripple effect of the Homestead Act, not just on Nebraska, but across 30 other states from the Mississippi River to Alaska. There's even a global dimension. Many homesteaders were immigrants from Germany, Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, and beyond. In this part of the exhibit, the focus turns to the land itself, how homesteaders shaped it, and how the park is now working to heal it. We'll take a look at some of the before and after views of the tallgrass prairie, see some of the tools used to break sod, such as steel plows, cultivators, and hand-cranked seed drills. We'll also take a look and learn about some of the sustainable practices in native species restoration taking place here on the park grounds today. This powerful and solemn part of the exhibit acknowledges the human cost of American expansion. Here we can see how the land once stewarded by native lands, including the Oto, Pawnee, Ponca, and Sioux, were claimed, divided, and sold through federal acts. Here we can see some treaties, tribal maps, and timelines that show the displacement of Native Americans across the plains. But more importantly, we understand and learn the concept of land ownership from Native perspectives, often based on communal stewardship and not private possession. Schools in the homesteading days were more than just places of learning, they were centers of rural life. Here we take a look at some of the old school desks, books, and everything like writing slates and learn how those were used. We also understand how literacy, citizenship, and shared values were cultivated in these rural places here in America. This last exhibit explores the full timeline of the Homestead Act from its optimistic beginning to its eventual end in 1986. Yes, 1986, about 123 years after the Homestead Act was created. Here we learn a little bit more about Daniel Freeman, believed to be the first person to file a claim on January 1st, 1863. And we'll also meet Kenneth Deerdorf, the last person to receive a homestead patent in 1988 for land in Alaska.
Just west of Beatrice, Nebraska. He raised his family and lived on his homestead for 45 years until he passed away on December 30th, 1908. Freeman's longtime friend and colleague,
There are two interesting instances connected with the final passage of the original Homestead Bill. First, it took effect on the same day of Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation.
I hope you've enjoyed this Wandering Walks of Wonder tour here at Homestead National Historic Park in Beatrice, Nebraska. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder. Take care now. Bye-bye.